Sup, dudes? Sup? All right. So let me give you a little bit of background in this video here, just to let everybody know what's going on. This was an older video that's been backlogged for a little bit, but after reviewing it, I hate every aspect of it except for the content is extremely interesting with the animals that we're gonna have. So this will be my first, I guess, unboxing, whatever, for you guys to see. I don't know how interesting that's gonna be as opposed to just seeing the snake in an enclosure, but we're doing it. And a little bit of feeding here too, but between the first half of the video, I think there was some stuff on the camera that somebody didn't notice, so that didn't get wiped off. So it's a little fuzzy at first. And then the second half of the video, I think I was a little bit excited, and at the same time, I was the one filming, so you know, it's a little bit all over the place. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. I didn't like it that much, but very interesting content and some of my favorite arboreal vipers too. So you guys will get a kick out of that shite right there. All right, without further ado, I present to you another video. Boom.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. They sing on and sing outside. Try to catch me howling at the moon. They sing on and sing outside. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me.
We're gonna feed these guys too, but I'm gonna put them in their enclosures first and kind of let them sit for a little bit, and then we'll pop back to the video again and continue either that, or I'll wait till tomorrow, let them settle in. It's probably what we'll do. So I'll finish this video off tomorrow before I post this, so you guys can see me. So these, oh my God, you look rough, homie, are Atheris squamagira, or some shit like that. I'm pretty sure I said that correctly. They're the squam vipers. So they are African bush vipers. These guys come from the Congo. And like I said, dude, look, it's crazy. Look how many different colors there are. Holy crap, dude. And that's not even all of them. They come in, there's blues, yellows, brick red, green with black, black with green. Mama, back up a little bit. Black with green, all kinds of different colors. So for that reason, we call them a variable bush viper. So you can have a red one and you breed it to a green one, doesn't make a difference. They're gonna pop out all different kinds of babies. A lot of people will get a black one and a black one in hopes to get black. Doesn't mean you're gonna get black. It's pretty amazing stuff. My favorite are the solid blacks because they're just epic. So what we're gonna do here is I only have 4 cages. So we're gonna set the male and female black one up. We're gonna leave these two together. And then these two females are, I would say, 90% sure that these guys are pregnant. Remember, these guys give live birth. Most vipers do. There are a couple of viper species that don't give live birth, and they'll lay eggs, but these guys live birth. So another interesting fun fact about the African bush viper, it is on the list of things that I have been bit by. And I got bit by a squam because I was stupid. And that's just that. So what happened is I had a buddy, an importer, and they're still importing to this day, but they got a bunch of them in. I was in a rush, which right then and there, exactly what I just said, a rush. Terrible way to start your day when working with venomous snakes. You never want to be in a rush. You never want to be trying to get to something else. Like whatever you're doing with the venomous snakes, you need to really focus on and do it like that. Look, this guy's chugging down, immediately chugging down. I'm sure they're all going to do that. I'm sure they're all thirsty. So what happened is I was loading them into these same delis. So we go over there, we pick what we want, we load them into the delis, and I'm just scooping snakes because we got like 50 of them that day, and I was in a rush, like I said, so I'm slamming them in the van, blah, blah, blah. life is good, I'm doing my thing, and I underestimated the strike range of a snake this size. Now all these guys are relatively chill, except for this one right here is a smoker. That thing wants the heater, for sure. So that thing is absolutely insane. So now, I'm extremely careful with these guys, and I was lucky enough that the bite that I got, even though he got both fangs way in there, it was a dry bite, which, dudes, ladies and gentlemen, that's like literally someone from above telling me that I needed to be on this earth, because there is no anti-venom for this species. Here, bud, there's water right here. So I'm gonna try and gently push his head down, or her head down, so she can know that the water's right there, because she is looking dry as hell. Yep, right there. Boom, chugging water. So I underestimated the strike zone, got myself into a situation. Now, I don't do that. And like I said, no anti-venom. But from what I hear, if you had complications, you could possibly use the anti-venom from an Echis, which is a salt scale viper over in Egypt. And that could potentially work. I think it's a polyvalent anti-venom for the Echis, and it supposedly could potentially fix the issue. Otherwise, you're pretty much stuck at the mercy of whatever's gonna happen, and at the mercy of your body basically fighting it off. And what they'll do is you go to the hospital and you will be essentially going through blood transfusions day in and day out so that they can try and fix the situation. Camera person, do not get too close to this stuff. Here, let me see if I can show you guys the seriousness of this right here while staying out of the zone here. There you go. Oh, you guys can get to see it. This is hard to do because I gotta keep my hand far enough away. But yeah, see, right there. So she wants the heater, she wants the smoke. Let me see if there's any venom on this phone. No venom. Camera person, keep your fingers right here. All right, so this is a female. That one over there chugging, the other red one is a female. Both appear to be pregnant or gravid, however you want to say it. I still say gravid regardless. But you can tell because essentially the separation of the scales, the fat lower body. The only other reason that they would have that is if she had to dump like nobody's business, but I don't think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that she's gravid. I'm gonna push her down too, but she's so angry that she may not shrink right away for us. I'm gonna close these guys up here. Also, guys, by the way, critter keepers are really good actually. Really hard to open up, really hard to get out of, but you always gotta make sure you clip your stuff, double check, and then whatever room you're keeping them in, make sure it's an escape-proof room because you don't want any issues. It's not a good look. Let's get these guys here. Put the two rings together. See if we can scoop them at the same time. Come on, little beadsies. All I'm doing here, guys, is just showing them the water's right there. I know they all want it. It's a tough life for a reptile that gets shipped. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Hey, don't disturb my dude in here, dude. Come on, man. There you go. There you go. Right in the water. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Last black one here. All right. So, also, you gotta be careful. Obviously, there's a bunch of holes on top of these critter keepers. And don't think that because, you know, there's a lid on top of these things that they won't try and strike through the lid. Because they will. I've seen it before. All right, so we're gonna set these guys up in the room over here, let them be for the night, and we'll get back to the feeding tomorrow. Boom. All right. Mind the mess, ladies and gentlemen, mind the mess. I wasn't gonna film the, figured forget it, might as well. So, I got the swans all set up. Everybody's been set up for like 2 days now. So I let everybody get nice and comfortable before I even attempted to feed. And then I was gonna feed a couple and then maybe film later on. Not really in the mood for it, but I thought this was pretty awesome. So this guy right here sucks down pinkies like he's at a damn hot dog eating contest, bro. This shit is nuts. So at first I thought he was gonna drop it, and I literally turned around to get another one for his buddy in there. I turned around and he already had the thing halfway through. Check this shit out, man. We're gonna give him one more. Want another one there, big guy? Watch this shit. This is some crazy shit. Nom 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 nom. It's like, bro, man, like, I'm not gonna take it from you. Dude, one and done, in and out. So usually you gotta be really careful when you feed these arboreals, because once you feed them, you don't want to make much movement. So it's really hard to feed two in an enclosure, but this guy doesn't even give you the time to wait. So let's see if this buddy's the same way here. Doesn't look like we're gonna have to force feed any of these things if they're all like that. Buddy, I already gave you one. Come on, big guy. There you go. See, now we're gonna have. Oh. Jesus, bud, like, I don't want to. You can have one more, dude. That's it. Oh.
It's sideways.
Don't figure it out. So the second one is a little bit more of what I expected. A little bit more finicky as the arboreals go. Why did I do that? So, all in all, what I tell people is the number one thing you need for all these finicky, smaller tree vipers is patience, man. Like, you really want to let them be comfortable with the situation. A lot of people will immediately go to force feeding. If they get a snake and it doesn't eat the first or second time, they get all freaked out and they want to pump food in it. But you guys got to remember, like, it's a snake. These guys can go months and months without eating, and oftentimes in the wild they do. That's why in captivity, everybody's used to seeing these animals that are so robust and essentially obese, because what we see in captivity is not what we see in the wild. When we go out and we hunt these snakes in the wild, and I don't mean hunt like kill, I mean hunt to go look for them. When we see snakes in the wild, like our native Florida wildlife, what you see in captivity versus what you see in the wild is always two different things, because everybody thinks that you need some huge, robust snake, like you want to see all the scales popping, you want to see a big, chunky snake, and that makes it healthy, which is actually the opposite of what you're looking at. When you see a snake like that, that's like, you know, that appears to be so extremely full all the time, it's actually worse for the snake. The snake will end up dying earlier because what happens is you get a lot of fat deposits and a lot of, like if you were to cut the snake open, you would see these little marshmallow looking things all over the snake. So on the inside of it, around the lungs, around the organs, around anything vital, you're gonna see these little fat pockets, these little fat deposits. And like I said, it's like a little marshmallow, but there's hundreds of these little marshmallows all over. And what it does, it compresses everything. So they get liver problems, kidney problems, they can't breathe right anymore. So the first sign for me, when I look at a snake, the first sign of an RI, a respiratory infection, the snake's gonna have its head tilted up just a bit and it'll have its mouth open because it's having trouble breathing, most likely because there's buildup in the lungs. You have mucus, you have all kinds of shit in the lungs that's making it very difficult for the snake to breathe. It's the same thing if you have a snake that's incredibly obese. He still can't breathe, so his head's tilted a little bit up, his mouth is open just a little bit because he's gasping for air. He can't breathe because there's so much fat deposits around his lung that it's literally compressing everything. So you have to be really careful. You don't want to make the animal so fat that shortens the life. You want the animal to be healthy, of course, but you want it to also survive. So a lot of people think that they're doing the animal a favor when in actuality, they're not. Let me see if I can get this guy to get a second one in there. Here we go. So, and I'm feeding more than one right now because the snakes are big. You don't have to go close for that one. I'm gonna get another one out. The snakes are so, they are big enough to be eating larger meals in this. So for that reason, I'm gonna give them all like, you know, one or two just to get them started. That one, I probably gave one too many, but he was super into it. But normally I wouldn't do that, but he'll be fine. He's gonna be just fine. What do we got going on here? So there's some weird shit. Oh, babies. Holy smokes, bro. Check this shit out.
Where?
Right there, dude.
Where?
Right there. How can you not see
I
that?
can't.
Bro, what? It's right here, dude.
Oh, at the top. Oh.
So immediately I looked down and I saw this here.
It's a placenta.
That little tiny thing right there. And what that is like, I call it the potato. This is exciting. I call it the potato because whatchamacallit, that's what happens on the inside. If you like cut the snake open before it had the babies, you would have these little potatoes like lined up. And essentially what it is the sac. So the eggs are inside the snake, they hatch inside or whatever. But if you have one that doesn't hatch, generally speaking, you'll get this kind of shit going on right here. Unfortunately, okay, no, well, I thought the female was dead because, hey dude, like, these snakes weren't really big enough for that nonsense.
Oh. What are you pulling?
Okay, so look,
It's a dead
I want to see if I can get you guys to see this clearly. All right, so check this out. You have, I'm gonna show you, this is the potato right here. And I pulled the end of it, and this is what happens. So the snake is gonna come out of that.
Ew.
Now, obviously, unfortunately, this one didn't make it, but you see, this is how it works right here. So this is a baby that's not fully formed, obviously. Again, I didn't even think these things were gravid. And I only see one baby in there, which I see, actually there's another baby tucked up underneath her. But, and there's another one. Let me get mom out of the way here. I don't think this one's alive either, yeah. So it looks like only one baby is gonna make it on this. I need some longer tongs. We're gonna get right, I'm gonna get back to you in 2 seconds here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I don't have a camera person right now, but you guys don't need to see me anyway. This is, I had to stop filming because I did my little excited kid in the candy store. I had to call my buddy, let him know what was going on over here, because this is amazing. So this is the female, and we did not think that she was gravid at all. It's just a holdback that we are treating over here. So we did not expect it, which just goes to show that you always got to pay attention to your stuff. So unfortunately, she did not give a good set of babies. So this is what it looks like when the babies are pretty much all the way through the process, but you know, just didn't come out alive. So these are all stillborn babies. So this is how they look like in the sack, still rolled up, doing their thing. Once they pop out, then they look like this little munchkin right here. Let me pop this thing open. This is difficult. So this is what they look like once they pop out. They are tiny, tiny, tiny little snakes. Let me see. Here's a penny. So you can see just little tiny, tiny things, which sucks because, you know, we're gonna be feeding these guys like pinky legs and shit for the first couple of months. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of hard work. So we're gonna have to stay on top of that. And then these two females in here, this one looks like she's about to lay right now. I can see, I say lay, but she's gonna have those babies right now. Sorry, there's some shit on the outside of the cage, so my phone doesn't wanna focus. But I don't wanna move her because I can see, I don't think you guys will be able to. Okay, so you can see, I'll use my finger to point. That right there where my little bony thing is, that little shiny spot, that looks like the, I guess you would call that the amniotic fluid that's gonna come out with those babies. So, and she's in like the trans right now. So all signs point to she's gonna probably have those babies within the next couple of hours. So she's in full shed. That's why she looks like right now. She's in full shed, which is a good sign that she's gonna lay. She's got the amniotic fluid coming out. And then I call it the trans. So the snake will be fairly inactive. So it's gonna essentially look like the snake is almost not doing well. They don't, you know, when the reptiles start to lay, or when they start, oh, you dropped it, you piece of shit. When the reptiles start to lay or have their babies, they'll go into what I call that trance. And essentially what it is the bodies are going through what they're going through. So it's just like if you take your wife, or if you're a female and you go and you have your baby, you're gonna be in the zone while that's happening. You're not gonna be having a great time. You're gonna be in the zone. So that's what she's doing right now. She's in the zone. She's very focused on what's going on. So her body is starting to do what it needs to do to go ahead and push those babies out. Now, we have to watch this one here. I would like to have her eat, but I think she has a few more left in her. I'll show you guys why I think that. So, being very gentle here, we're gonna pick her up. And if you look at her belly, you can kind of see some lumpy stuff going on in there. So I think she's cleared out, but we're not gonna try and feed her just yet as much as I really, really want to, because I don't wanna cause any complications or anything like that. So we're going to get this male to eat because he looks like duty, and I really wanna get a meal in him, so we're gonna go ahead and put that back in his mouth and hope that he eats. So El Jefe's coming over here right now. I doubt he's gonna wanna be on camera, but he's coming over to help me out, and he's bringing me a surprise too, so we'll have another video for you. All right, so we'll be back here in a moment. Get these guys done, because I'm not gonna be feeding the two red ones in there because they're gonna be having babies any day. All right. Yes, yes, amazing.
Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sun rises, when the sun